The next questions relate to Pine Middle School and the related elementary schools, which are currently zoned to Reno and Wooster and Demonte Ranch for high school. While generally well-maintained, these facilities range in age from 27 up to 67 years old. Recent facility assessments comparing these outdated facilities to the current new school's design standards found that they lack facilities that support modern instructional models such as larger classrooms and flexible collaborative learning hubs, and that many building systems are near the end of useful life, requiring significant renovation investment. Projections indicate enrollment decline in the next 5 years, with multiple elementary schools falling to extremely small sizes with very inefficient capacity utilization. 5 facility options for these schools have been drafted and edited based on community feedback. They are, in no particular order: Option A, prioritize renovations under the current operating model. This option is to continue operating all schools in their current locations without major rezoning while monitoring enrollment projections. Much in line with recent projects at Swope and O'Brien Middle Schools, all schools would eventually be subject to significant investment in renovation, starting with the older, outdated buildings first, and a focus on school safety, student and staff wellness, collaborative learning, special education services, and supports for new and enhanced signature and magnet programs. A disadvantage about this option is that it comes with trade-offs. Due to limited capital funding that would have to be spread across more buildings with fewer students in them, this choice would result in either scaled-back facility improvements, longer timelines to get around to all schools, or both. This option also means that more of the district's very limited operational budget has to be spent on running and maintaining partially filled buildings, money which could otherwise be used for teachers, counselors, student support services, and educational programs such as pre-K, STEM, arts, languages, honors, AP, etc. Option B, new elementary school at Pine repurposed Smithridge and Dodson. The district maintains that school closures are only an option when there is a clear benefit to students and staff, and always with community input. This option is what we're calling a trade-up scenario, where district would concentrate its capital and operating budgets, replacing or doing major renovations to old, outdated elementary school facilities with larger, state-of-the-art buildings, enabling the consolidation of schools and programs into new facilities at fewer locations. This option has various positive benefits. First, better resourced schools because less of the operating budget is used on running old, energy inefficient, and partially filled buildings, and more is left over for teachers and educational programs. Next, this option means better facilities for more students faster by focusing WC1 construction funds into more impactful projects in fewer buildings. Also, the repurposed surplus facilities can be reimagined and put to good use to serve the community. One downside of this option is that with fewer schools, there will be less students walking and more students on short bus rides to and from school. Specifically for the Pine area, Option B would begin in 2026 after the completion of the new Vaughn Middle School, which would enable Pine to be rezoned to HERS, DePoli, and the new Vaughn. Pine would then be renovated or reconstructed as a new state-of-the-art elementary school that could open by 2028. At this point, Smithridge and Dodson would be closed and rezoned to the new elementary school at Pine, and surplus buildings would be repurposed. Donner Springs, Hidden Valley, and Huffaker would undergo prioritized renovations. Please note that this sequence of projects would take several years, giving families and staff a long time to prepare for changes. Option C, new Pre-K-8 school at Pine, repurposed Smithridge and Dodson. This option is the same as Option B, except Pine is converted into a Pre-K-8 instead of a Pre-K through 5 elementary school, offering a different educational model that currently only exists in Washoe County at Mount Rose K-8 School of Languages on a very small scale. Option D, new elementary schools at Pine and one other area site with regional consolidation. During the FMP regional conversations in May 2023, community stakeholders suggested this new option, similar to option B, except that it results in Dodson consolidating with Hidden Valley in an eventual 5-3 consolidation instead of 5-4. Just like options B and C, it begins after the completion of the new Vaughn Middle School in 2026, which would enable Pine to be rezoned to HERS DePoli in the new Vaughn, then reconstructed as an elementary school that could open by 2028. Where it differs from option B is what follows next. Smith Ridge and part of Donner Springs would be rezoned to the new Pine, making Smith Ridge's campus available as swing space for additions and renovations at Huffaker and one of either Dodson, Donner Springs, or Hidden Valley. Which of these schools would be determined around 2028 with a reassessment of enrollment projections at that time. After these improvements, 2030 or later, these three schools would be rezoned into the one with improved and expanded facilities, and Smith Ridge and two other facilities would be repurposed. Option E, new pre-K-8 school at Pine and regional consolidation. This option is the same as option D, except Pine is converted into a pre-K-8 instead of a pre-K through 5 elementary school, offering a different educational model that currently only exists in Washoe County at Mount Rose. Please rate your level of support for each draft option on its own individually, and note that you can indicate support for all, some, or none of the options. Then, we will ask for your help in scoping and prioritizing projects by asking which educational programs need facility improvements the most. There's also an open-ended comment question at the end of the survey where you can expand on your answers.